guys, it's Nikki and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you're interested in learning how you can horseback ride in Walt Disney World, then this video is going to be for you. This past November, Jackson and I were able to finally experience horseback riding experience at the campsites at Fort Wilderness. I just can't wait to do it again, so that just tells you how much I enjoyed it. I am a horse girly. I have loved horses my entire life, and so being able to do it in my favorite place, in the most magical place on earth, it was just a dream come true. Okay, so you're interested in horseback riding at Walt Disney World. How do you go about and do that? So advanced reservations are always encouraged, and I would always say never show up to any extra special activity or event without an advanced reservation. You're just gonna set yourself up for sadness if they're already full and you can't get in. So you can book the horseback riding at Walt Disney World 60 days in advance, just like a regular dining reservation. Those reservations though, since they are enchanted experiences, they will open at midnight Walt Disney World time, so Eastern time. So just make sure that you are logged in right away so you can get the perfect time that you want, and all members of your party will have the opportunity to sign up. The horse riding experience at the campsites at Fort Wilderness in Walt Disney World is going to cost you $55, and it's for a 45-minute trail experience. I thought the time, like the length of it, was perfect. I love horseback riding. I have ridden horses, there we go, in the past, and so I would have been totally fine with the longer experience. But it was, if you're brand new, have never ridden a horse, or if this is your kiddo's first time, it was definitely a very nice trail and an overall great experience for a first time rider. You do have to be 9 and up. You have to be at least 48 inches tall, and you have to be below 250 pounds. They do weigh you, so just know that when you do check in at the Tri-Circle Ranch building, you will be weighed. They don't tell anyone, they just write it on the sheet just to make sure that you are okay, and then they can determine which horse is best for you. No matter your age, you do have to wear a helmet, and they will supply those for you, and they are clean, don't worry. You can see how they transition them in and out between every group. They're not just having you place them back on the same shelf where you got them. You put them in a special bin, and then they have the new ones for the next round of guests. So depending on what time of year you go, I would highly recommend doing the earliest spot as possible for what fits for your family. Obviously, we did the 8 o'clock ride, and it was really nice because it wasn't hot out. We were able to wear jeans comfortably, and you do have to have closed-toed shoes. So just know that there are certain stipulations for the ride, so you might have to add those extra items into your luggage when you come to Walt Disney World. So for the rides, you do have an option for 8 a.m., 9:30, 11, 12:30, and 2 p.m. So they are throughout the day. They're not going to be later in the night. It's just going to be during those first morning hours. So again, I would really recommend for you and your family to go to the 8 or 9:30 time, just because that 2 p.m., that's going to be in your heat of the day, and that's just going to be a hot ride in general, no matter what time of year you go, honestly. So definitely make sure that you're logged in that 60 days in advance so you can get one of those earlier times. About just like our overall experience. So the hardest part of this experience is getting to the campsites at Fort Wilderness, because the Disney transportation does not take you from resort to resort. So if you're wanting to stick with Disney transportation, maybe you have kiddos that would need car seats, if you just Ubered or Lyft, that would be your easiest option. You can order a minivan, and they would pick you up and drop you off, or you would have to go to like maybe your closest park or to Disney Springs and then get on that bus and then go to the campsite. So just know you should give yourself about an hour and a half to 2 hours in advance to get to the campsites. You don't want to be late. They will start on time. They will start without you. So just make sure that you're giving yourself enough travel time to get to the campsites. It is very easy to find right when you pull into the campsites at Fort Wilderness. You're going to see where the horses live. You're going to see that Tri-Circle D Ranch building. If you do have any questions, you can always go ahead and ask a cast member in the lobby or anywhere that you see them, but just know that it is right when you get there, so it is really easy to find. Once we got there, once we got checked in, we just hung around and we were over by the horses for a little bit. They do ask you not to touch any of the horses while they're grazing, so we just looked from afar. But you have little picnic tables, you have your numbers, so they know how many you have in your group and who you are. So once we were ready to go, the guide gave us a couple of instructions. We hopped on our horses and then we were tied up to wait for everyone else. So Jackson and I have ridden horses before, and they do ask you that. And so we were the first ones on our horses and we just hung out. I'll throw a couple of pictures of us up here. The biggest thing is that you can't take any cameras or cell phones out with you. You can. Jackson obviously had his phone with him, but they just ask you to make sure you keep those put away because they don't have to stop during your trail ride if you would drop it. I probably would wear a GoPro just so I can show you that experience and have that experience like documented. But just know that no cameras. If you do have your phone, just make sure you keep them put away. They do have lockers for you, so we were able to bring our backpacks, our fanny packs, different things like that. And we just went ahead and locked it up, and it is right by where the horse is at. It's very secure, very safe. You're in Disney. The overall ride was very smooth. These horses, this is their job. They do this day in and day out. They do have rest days. Disney takes great care of their animals, so you don't need to be worried about that. But they know where they're going. So the guides do lead you. I believe you have one in the front and in the back, and I think we had one in the middle too. I can't remember exactly, but they do a great job of just chatting with you. If you have any questions, they're happy to answer those. It was really fun learning about the different horses, what they do, where they came from, if they have any other jobs, or what guides train the horses for Cinderella's carriage, for the weddings, or we learned about the ponies in Magic Kingdom. And so all of the little fun facts were just really fun to learn about. But the guides were great. They were full of information, very nice, very helpful. And the horses were great too. My horse was wonderful, very well tamed. Our guide was riding a newer horse to the trails, and so she got spooked a couple of times, just like wanting to scooch over and not stay in the middle of the trail, which is totally normal. So if your horse does that, that's okay. You can just move your reins back over and they'll be right back in the center. And the guide does do a great job of explaining that, because sometimes the horses do want to snack, and so they'll just like stick their little heads over to the bushes and to the trees and stuff. And so the guide will remind you like, oh, your horse is trying, or they'll say their name and then is trying to move over. Just move your reins over a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. We did see some deer when we were on our trail, so that was really cool too. But overall, it was a great experience, and it is only for 45 minutes. So you just go up through the forestry area, and you can see some of the cabins and some of the campsites from a distance, but they have the same trail that they do all the time. Was it worth it? 100%. If you look at it, this is pretty cheap extra activity that you can do in Walt Disney World, especially if you're staying at the campsites, if you're staying at one of the cabins, or if you are staying in a campsite with an RV, or if you're tent camping. This is such a fun little option to do around Fort Wilderness. Guys, that's gonna be it for today's review of the horseback riding at the campsites in Fort Wilderness. Definitely let me know your questions that you have in the comments down below. I love doing these fun little reviews with you, so if you want anything else reviewed, just let me know in the comments down below as well. We absolutely loved riding horses in Walt Disney World. Whenever I tell anyone, like, yeah, you can horseback ride in Disney World, they never believe me. They're like, what? They think that there are just 4 theme parks, but Walt Disney World is the size of San Francisco. There are so many fun events that you can do, many fun events and activities and just experiences that you and your family, or just you, can experience at all of the different resorts across property. So just again, let me know in the comments down below what questions you have about the horseback riding experience at the campsites at Fort Wilderness in Walt Disney World, or if you have any other things that you would like me to review. I would absolutely love doing that for you. So I hope you guys have a magical rest of your day, and I will see you real soon. Bye. Oh, subscribe to the channel. Let's be friends. See ya.